you're lying next to the love of your life. The moment comes, but nothing happens. That gut-wrenching feeling, that flush of embarrassment, that whisper in your mind saying, "What if it's gone for good?" Here's the hard truth. Over 70% of men past 60 struggle with erectile dysfunction, yet most stay silent, convinced they're damaged goods, or that their prime is over. That idea isn't just wrong, it's harmful because it steals away hope. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, a urologist and men's health expert with 30-plus years helping men regain their confidence, their passion, and their vigor. I've looked into the eyes of men who believed all was lost, but I've also witnessed the change. Men who walked back into my office weeks later, grinning, standing taller, their marriages reignited. Here's the twist. You've been fed the lie that the only fix is a pill, those little pharmacy tablets that just mask the issue. They don't fix it. And when they wear off, the dread creeps back. What most men miss is that the answer has always been within reach, hidden in ancient natural oils that have boosted men's vitality for centuries. Today I'll reveal 9 incredible oils that can naturally combat erectile dysfunction, oils that revive circulation, stabilize hormones, and restore sensitivity. And that 9th oil, so potent that men often say it feels like they've been given a new body part in just 7 days. Stick with me, this could be the breakthrough you've needed. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss vital tips tailored for men 60 and beyond. I want to hear from you. If this hits home, comment 1. If you'd like me to tackle other topics, comment 0. Your input shapes what I share next. Now that you know what's on the line, let's start with the first oil. One most men ignore, yet it carries the spark your body craves. It's straightforward, natural and mighty. I'm talking about pumpkin seed oil, the bedrock of male rejuvenation. Pumpkin seed oil. Let's start with an underrated hero for men over 60. Pumpkin seed oil. I call it liquid gold for aging men. Why? It's packed with zinc, a must for testosterone. No zinc, no fuel. In my clinic, men dragging in with exhaustion, low drive, and poor performance almost always have one thing in common: zinc deficiency. Testosterone doesn't magic into existence. It needs building blocks, and pumpkin seed oil delivers them in the easiest form for your body to use. But there's more. This golden oil contains phytosterols, which enhance blood flow to erectile tissue. At its core, an erection is about blood supply. Clogged pipes. The body lets you down when you need it most. Open, relaxed vessels. Game changer. Pumpkin seed oil works quietly but surely to unblock those pathways. Many of my older patients feel a shift in a weak morning. Stiffness returns, along with an energy they thought was gone forever. Personally, I find it remarkable how something so simple, something that sits quietly in nature, can unlock such profound changes. It reminds me that the body isn't broken, it just needs the right support. Pumpkin seed oil is the first step in building that foundation. And if you think that sounds powerful, wait until you hear about the next oil. It's been called the cure for everything except death. And when it comes to restoring erections naturally, its effects are nothing short of extraordinary. Black seed oil. Now let's move to an oil that carries a legendary reputation across centuries. Black seed oil. In ancient texts, it was described as the cure for everything except death. And while that might sound dramatic, I can tell you from experience that its impact on male sexual health is nothing short of remarkable. What makes black seed oil so special is a compound called thymoquinone. This little molecule has the power to increase nitric oxide production in the body. And nitric oxide, in simple terms, is the very signal that tells your blood vessels to open wide and allow blood to rush in. Without it, no matter how much you want intimacy, your body struggles to respond. I remember a patient in his mid-60s who sat across from me, exhausted from failed attempts with pills that gave him headaches, but no lasting relief. When I introduced him to black seed oil, I told him to be patient, to give it at least a week or two. He returned with a smile, telling me that for the first time in years, he woke up with spontaneous morning erections. His confidence began to return, and more importantly, his hope returned. That is the beauty of black seed oil. It doesn't fight against your body, it works with it. And as an added gift, its anti-inflammatory properties soothe the delicate blood vessels that have been worn down by years of stress, diet, and aging. It clears the path so that blood can flow freely once again. But black seed oil is only the beginning of this journey, because next I will share with you an oil that not only supports blood flow, but also helps your body naturally restore testosterone levels, giving you back a vitality you thought was gone forever. Pomegranate seed oil. There is something deeply symbolic about the pomegranate. For centuries, it has been seen as a fruit of life and vitality, and when you look at what its seed oil can do for men, that symbolism makes perfect sense. Pomegranate seed oil is packed with a rare fatty acid called punic acid, along with some of the most powerful antioxidants found in nature. Together they create a unique ability to protect and repair the very blood vessels that supply your erections. I often tell my patients that their arteries are like garden hoses. Over time, they can stiffen, weaken, or develop tiny cracks that disrupt smooth blood flow. Pomegranate seed oil acts like a repair kit, smoothing and strengthening those vessels so blood can move freely again. But what makes this oil truly special is its effect on testosterone. As men age, testosterone slowly declines year after year, leaving you with less drive, less energy, and weaker performance. Pomegranate seed oil supports your body's natural ability to produce more testosterone, not by forcing it, but by encouraging the pathways your body already has. I once had a gentleman in his early 70s who told me he felt half alive, low energy, little desire, and frequent struggles in the bedroom. After adding pomegranate seed oil to his daily routine, he returned weeks later with a different story, a spark of energy, renewed intimacy with his wife, and a feeling that he had gained back a part of himself he thought was gone forever. That's the gift of pomegranate seed oil. It doesn't just improve erections, it restores vitality from the inside out. And if that inspires you, wait until you hear about the next oil. At first glance, it might seem like something meant only for women, but in truth, it holds one of the most overlooked secrets for men's sexual health: evening primrose oil. When most men hear the words, evening primrose oil, they immediately assume it belongs in the world of women's supplements, and I understand why. It's often marketed for female hormone balance, but in my years of practice, I've seen how profoundly this oil can impact a man's intimate health, particularly when it comes to restoring sensitivity and pleasure. Evening primrose oil is rich in gamma-linolenic acid, or GLA, an essential fatty acid that the body cannot make on its own. This compound is vital for the health of your nerves, the very same nerves that line your penis and allow you to feel touch, arousal, and satisfaction. I remember a patient, 68 years old, who confessed with a heavy heart that intimacy had become dull for him. He could still perform, but the sensations were muted, and that left him detached from the experience. When he began taking evening primrose oil, the change was gradual but undeniable. Within weeks, he noticed that sensitivity had returned. He described the difference as going from hearing a muffled radio to suddenly experiencing rich, full sound again. His confidence grew, and more importantly, he felt emotionally reconnected to his partner. That's the kind of transformation this oil can offer. It doesn't just improve function, it deepens the quality of intimacy. Evening primrose oil also plays a role in hormone regulation, supporting the balance of prostaglandins that influence arousal and erection quality. In simple terms, it helps your body fine-tune its response so that everything feels sharper, stronger, and more satisfying. And while that alone is remarkable, the journey doesn't stop here, because the next oil I want to share with you works on a different level altogether: your mind. It sharpens focus, clears distractions, and helps you stay fully present in the most intimate moments. Rosemary oil. So many men believe that erections are purely a physical event, but in truth, everything begins in the mind. I've sat across from countless patients who told me that even when their bodies were capable, their thoughts sabotaged them. Worry about work, anxiety about performance, or the constant mental chatter of daily life. These distractions rob men of their presence. That is why rosemary oil is so remarkable. Beyond its familiar aroma, it holds compounds that improve circulation directly to the brain, creating sharper focus and clearer thinking. When the mind is calm and alert, a man can finally be present with his partner, instead of lost in a storm of worry. I'll never forget one gentleman, in his early 60s, who told me he felt like a spectator in his own bedroom, never fully engaged. I suggested rosemary oil, not just as a topical remedy, but as a daily practice, massaging a few drops into his temples each morning. When he returned weeks later, he told me something that stayed with me. He said, "Doctor, I didn't just get better erections, I got my confidence back." His wife noticed he was more focused, more attentive, more connected, and the intimacy they thought was fading had begun to bloom again. Another hidden gift of rosemary oil is its ability to regulate DHT, a derivative of testosterone. Too much DHT can dull sensitivity and interfere with performance. Rosemary oil helps strike that perfect balance, allowing a man to keep his masculinity without sacrificing sexual function. And if you think supporting the mind is powerful, imagine combining that with an oil that lowers inflammation throughout the body while calming stress at its very roots. That is exactly what the next oil brings, and it has been treasured for thousands of years. Frankincense oil. For centuries, frankincense has been considered sacred, burned in temples, and used in rituals meant to restore balance to the body and soul. What ancient healers sensed long ago, modern science now confirms. Frankincense has the power to calm inflammation and ease the burden of stress, two of the most destructive forces when it comes to a man's sexual health. I often remind my patients that stress is not just an emotion, it is chemistry. Every time you feel anxious or overwhelmed, your body releases cortisol, and cortisol directly interferes with testosterone production and blood flow. Over time, this invisible cycle slowly chips away at erections, leaving men frustrated and defeated. Frankincense oil interrupts that cycle. Its boswellic acids work like firefighters, dousing the flames of chronic inflammation that damage nerves, blood vessels, and even the prostate. At the same time, its aroma and active compounds soothe the nervous system, lowering cortisol and allowing the body to return to a state where intimacy is possible again. I once had a patient in his 70s who told me he had all but given up on intimacy, not because his body couldn't respond, but because his mind was constantly tense. When he began diffusing frankincense before bedtime, he noticed not only deeper, calmer sleep, but a surprising return of natural erections. The relief in his voice when he shared that story was unforgettable, like a man who had been carrying a heavy weight, finally setting it down. Frankincense reminds us that confidence in the bedroom isn't just about blood flow, it's about peace of mind. When stress loosens its grip, the body responds naturally. And yet, as powerful as that is, the next oil goes even deeper, enhancing the way your very testosterone receptors function, while awakening sensitivity you thought was lost for good. Sandalwood oil. There is something timeless about sandalwood. Its warm, grounding scent has been used for thousands of years, in rituals meant to inspire confidence, focus, and vitality. For men struggling with erectile dysfunction, sandalwood oil offers benefits that go far beyond fragrance. Deep inside the body, this oil influences how your cells respond to testosterone. You see, even if your testosterone levels are in the normal range, it won't matter unless your body can use it effectively. Think of testosterone as a key, and your receptors as locks. If the locks are rusty, the key can't open the door. Sandalwood oil acts like a polish, restoring those locks so the hormone you already have works at full strength. I once worked with a man in his late 60s who had spent years chasing higher testosterone numbers through supplements and injections. His levels improved on paper, but his energy, desire and performance never matched the numbers. When we introduced sandalwood oil, he didn't expect much, but within weeks he came back, astonished. He described his body as finally listening to the testosterone, his energy climbing, his erections firming, and his confidence returning. It wasn't about forcing more hormones into his system, it was about helping his body use what was already there, and there's more. Sandalwood also enhances nerve sensitivity in the genital area, something many men lose with age, that dullness that creeps in, where sensations aren't as sharp as they used to be. Sandalwood helps restore it. Patients often tell me intimacy feels vivid again, like turning up the volume after years of silence. This oil has rightly earned its reputation as liquid confidence. And yet what comes next may surprise you even more. An exotic flower, whose oil can both energize and relax the body, balancing desire with calm in a way few remedies can. Ylang ylang oil. Ylang ylang oil may sound delicate, often associated with perfumes and floral notes, but don't let that fool you. For men, especially those over 60, it holds a hidden strength. One of the greatest challenges my patients describe is performance anxiety, being either too wound up and nervous, or too relaxed and unable to respond. Ylang ylang oil has an extraordinary ability to bring balance. It gently stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, sparking desire and blood flow, while at the same time calming the parasympathetic system, easing tension and worry. It is like striking the perfect chord between excitement and control. I remember a patient, a retired teacher in his 70s, who told me he felt trapped by his own nerves. He loved his wife dearly, but the pressure of intimacy made him anxious, and that anxiety only worsened when he couldn't perform. We introduced ylang ylang oil into his nightly routine, sometimes diffused in the bedroom, other times applied sparingly as a natural cologne. Slowly, he began to notice a shift. His body was eager, yet his mind was at ease. He described it as being ready without being rushed. That change alone was enough to renew his confidence, and with confidence, his body followed. Ylang ylang also supports the adrenal glands, organs that are often overworked by stress and aging. By restoring balance there, the body can redirect energy back to sexual health, where it belongs. And just like some of the other oils we've discussed, it naturally enhances nitric oxide, improving blood flow without the side effects of medication. This is why I often call it the oil of harmony. It reconnects mind and body, easing fear while fueling desire. And yet, as powerful as that sounds, the final oil I want to share is the true game changer. An oil so potent that men often report feeling like they've turned back the clock within just 1 week. Pine needle oil. At last we come to the oil that often leaves men shaking their heads in disbelief. Pine needle oil. It may seem simple, pulled from the needles of a tree you've walked past 1,000 times, yet inside it are compounds called alpha-pinene and beta-pinene that supercharge the way your body uses oxygen. Imagine your cells suddenly running on premium fuel instead of regular. Energy rises, stamina improves, and every organ, especially those tied to intimacy, performs at a higher level. But what really blows my mind about pine needle oil is how fast it gets your blood pumping. It's one of nature's most powerful circulation boosters, widening your blood vessels in minutes so warmth and full sensation come rushing back. Guys who've tried it often tell me they feel that familiar tingle and heat almost instantly. Plus, it helps your body use testosterone more efficiently and soothes inflammation in your prostate and private parts. No wonder men call it life-changing. I've watched men in their 60s and 70s get their swagger back, not just in the bedroom, but in their whole lives. They're not just functioning again, they're thriving again. And that's my message to you. Your peak isn't in the past. With nature's help, you can rebuild your strength, your connection, and your zest for life, at any age.